grainy images. Say something. Uh-oh. So do I have to type? Oh, hi everybody. I guess I don't have to type because you can see and hear me. Ah, awesome. Thank you, Anthony. Well, this is the first time I've done this, actually. Yes, Christmas lights are still up. That was supposed to be one of today's projects, but I had to work this morning, so Christmas lights did not get taken down today. Happy New Year to you, Jay. I'll go ahead, ask any questions. Ask any questions you like. So this is just kind of a test. That I have no plan behind this. So eventually, I'd like to be able to set up a live stream in the shop there. But I just wanted to see what kind of if I was going to have to use the camera on the laptop or get a webcam or something like that. Oh, you have snow, huh? That's excellent. We haven't had any snow this year. Maybe a couple flurries out here in Jersey. Well, at least my neck of the woods in Jersey. Road King's fine. I haven't seen him lately. Actually, I've been really busy with work. But we've got an engine show coming up next weekend, or this coming weekend, rather. So looking forward to that. It's the Jacktown Winter Show, the snow show. I'm not sure where I should be looking. If I should be looking at the camera. Plastic. Solar panel, huh? 190-watt solar panel. That's interesting. You know, I've thought a little bit about solar panels in the past. I've seen where they sell, a battery pack, a mobile battery pack, and you get like a fold-up solar panel. It's got an inverter built into it. I've seen these for sale on Amazon and the like. Thought they were interesting. Diesel or gas for engines, John Smith. Well, I guess depends on the application. I like diesel or gasoline engines, or natural gas or propane engines, but depends on the application. My pickup truck, for example, is gasoline. I wouldn't have a modern diesel pickup. Just one, I probably couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford the maintenance on it or the repair costs either. Okay, what do we got? Rotary Briggs project update. Well, I'd like to do one, but we scarcely have the time. We haven't even finished the overhead valve Briggs. What else do we have? How did it come to where your interest got you into generators? Well, I've always been interested in electrical equipment, and then I guess I got into mechanical things as well, starting with small engines, hence the name, the YouTube channel name, and ended up starting to work on heavy equipment. First, I should say I went to school for high school for commercial electrical construction, and Started working on heavy equipment right after high school, and then decided to go into the generator field because it was the best of both worlds: electrical work and mechanical work, engine work. So, and as I've always been interested in older equipment, antique generators is perfect. Good hobby. What's your biggest hit and miss engine horsepower? 2 right now. I've sold a lot of hit and miss engines. I don't have many left. I actually only have 1 true hit and miss engine left, and it's a little Hercules, a little first hit and miss engine I acquired or I purchased. Sold off a lot of hit and miss engines. So, geez, I think that's it really. I have a couple other flywheel engines. Oh no, you know what? I have a 4-horse hit and miss engine. It's a oil well supply. It's a hot tube engine, like an oil field engine. I don't think I've ever done a video on it. Thank you, Derek, for the compliment there. John Smith, what do I like better? Well, again, I don't think I really prefer one like a diesel engine, or a diesel cycle versus a gas cycle or auto cycle engine. I don't really think I prefer one better than the other. Diesels are sure more interesting. If I had to choose an antique generator, if I had a choice between an antique generator that was gasoline powered or diesel powered, I'd go for the diesel. So I guess that's the answer, diesel. Nick, it's got 3406 cat. Injector line runs through the block. It's leaking fuel there. If that's an easy fix. It's a pretty easy fix. I've actually had an issue recently on a generator with a 3406. The easiest thing to do is just buy the adapter fitting for where it passes through the rocker box. If I'm not mistaken, you want to, if it's leaking, just buy the injector line for that 1 cylinder from the injector pump to the fitting where it passes through the rocker box, and buy the jumper line, which goes from the inside of that fitting inside the rocker box to the injector nozzle. Just buy the new parts. They're fairly inexpensive. Don't mess around with either replacing one part or the other part. Just replace the whole thing as a I don't want to say an assembly, but replace all 3 components. The jumper line, if I'm not mistaken, from the inside of the adapter fitting where it passes through the rocker box wall to the injector nozzle. I think there's O-rings on that as well, which kind of confused me because, for the high pressure fuel injection, I would think that they wouldn't need that. They're just using that, like the taper of the line to seal, but it's the way Cat did it. Don't mess around with fuel in your oil. Get it taken care of. Bad news. Or I don't know if it's leaking externally or internally, actually. I should have asked that first. Bessemer engineer with the generator on it. Think about putting a generator in an 8-horsepower Kohler engine. So for an 8-horse Kohler, that depends what speed you want the engine to run at. An 8-horse Kohler could probably, pull a 6-kilowatt generator if it's running at 3,600 RPM. But if you want to run it slower, like 1,800 RPM, or belt drive it to whatever generator you had, it really depends on what speed you want the engine to run at. Anywhere from a 2 or 3 kilowatt generator up to about 6 horsepower, or a 6 kilowatt generator could be operated by an 8-horse Kohler. That would be my thoughts. Oh, Mrs. SmallEngineMechanic, my wife is here, actually. She's out and about with her friends tonight, but she decided to stop into the live stream. Hello. You know what? I see a Broken Mofo there. Gentleman that always added a small amount of diesel to all his gas tractors and swore they ran better. Well, I don't know. I've made the mistake of running a vehicle on gasoline that had been contaminated with diesel fuel, and the engine was not happy. This was in my old Ford flatbed with the 351 V8 Windsor engine, and it did not like it. It pinged very badly because diesel fuel does not have it's very, very low octane, so it does not resist detonation like gasoline does. and it was not happy. It was not happy on with that little bit of gasoline in there. Let's see. Oh, small generator rental company. That's pretty cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with the comments here. Anthony Electric, I'm just reading your comments. So, battery. I tell you, I'm not all that familiar with solar panel and battery technology, at least what it is today. So, but yeah, 64 amp hour battery. So it's kind of difficult for me to interpret that into a useful power source, something that you could power lights or appliances with. I'm assuming you would run it through an inverter to get 120 volt AC out of that. Inverter for surges. There you go. Oh yes, a nice Cummins, a nice 6BT Cummins and an old Ford pickup or something like that would be nice. Now, I like to think that the engines I build with Road King will get finished, and I know they will. But we don't have a schedule for them. We don't lay out a plan every time we get together. It's, well, what do you want to work on tonight? So, Wayne, how you doing? Do I have any flat belt driven tools or equipment? No, I can't say that I do. My South Bend has a flat belt in it, but it's got an electric motor. The flat belt's just on the step pulleys, and my Bridgeport, it's just a regular J-head Bridgeport. Oh, you know what I do have is a little Fox machinery, I think it's called. It's a little baby horizontal milling machine, and I believe that was originally flat belt driven from either a line shaft or something like that. When I purchased it, it had an electric motor that somebody had kind of clamped on the head of it. So I don't really know what the fate of that milling machine is going to be. I haven't had a use for it, but it doesn't take up much space. So I'd like to use it at some point. Derek, thanks. I do like the Witty diesel as well. Now I've got a second one I've never really shown. So I've got two pretty much identical Witty generator sets, the 12 kilowatt, or not 12 kilowatt, 12 horsepower, 8 kilowatt sets. The one that's complete that you've seen videos of, and the other one is pretty much all taken apart. I bought it as a basket case, so that's a project to get done one day. I have kind of an idea for the pair of the Witties diesels, mount them on a trailer and set them up with a panel, a control panel, so I could synchronize them and actually run them on the same output bus and set it up so it looks vintage, it looks antique. I think that would be a neat display for shows. I don't know if the governors, the old primitive mechanical governors, would play well. However, I'm sure they wouldn't. Oh, John Smith. Okay, so you're India, 50 hertz. Okay, yeah, so 1500 RPM. So at 1500 RPM, an 8-horse Kohler should be capable of maybe 2 to 3 kilowatt generator. Oh, good, Nick. Okay. Well, it's leaking fuel externally is better than leaking internally. Being working in the generator field, I've seen some serious fuel dilution issues. There's one right now. I just got an oil sample report back. 7.5% fuel in the oil on it's a 12V149 Detroit. So I forget, it's probably an early 80s build, which I don't know if anybody's worked on the 149 series Detroits here, but I'm not a fan. They're not that difficult to work on as a mechanical piece, but the way that the turbochargers are hung right in front of them, and the way the coolant manifolds are run, you have to take the coolant manifolds off to get the fuel manifolds off. It's just a kind of a pain. So, Chris, how you doing? Colin, thank you. How did myself and Road King meet? I met him at the Jacktown Winter Show. Oh, back in 2009, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 2009 Winter Show at Jacktown. We had some interaction on YouTube before that, but that was actually it was almost a fluke how we met. We were both at the show, and he recognized an engine that I had on display as an engine I had in one of my videos. So that was interesting. 10 years I've known him. We're very good friends. He was the best man at my wedding, so very good friends. Tony's Entertainment. Do you know anybody that has a go-kart? I'm sure I do. Actually, I do. What is it? Moto for Life, or Dirt Bike 5100, or Bill from that gets with us comes to Engine Night. I'm sure he's got one of some description. Well, that's a good idea, Anthony. Be able to almost daisy chain your battery bank to kind of suit whatever loads you want to run. Greg, how did I learn to operate my machining equipment? YouTube videos helped. YouTube's a great resource, and there's some literature as well. I've bought some books and things like that, and it's mostly trial and error, I guess. I'm no expert machinist by any means, though. I can get by. I can make the parts that I need, and if I have to make a part or a component that I'm not sure, I either have the equipment or have the skill to make, I'll reference the internet, reference YouTube, or a book or a manual or something like that. I can't say I've had any experience with Mahindra or Leyland engines or Kirklow Stars. I cannot say I've had any experience with them. Colin, cleaning up slip rings on a generator. Well, I use one of the maroon or red Scotch-Brite pads typically. Sorry, I got an itch on my nose here. If they're not pitted or grooved or anything like that, Make sure your brushes are free in the holders for sure. Take the brushes off. If you can get access in there, you turn the engine over by hand while holding a piece of Scotch-Brite on the slip rings, and just clean them up until they're bright. They don't have to be a mirror finish. Just they're not pitted. If you had a mouse nest in there, they're probably tarnished, got green or brown spots on them. Just go ahead and give them a little bit of brightening up with some Scotch-Brite. Do the job. Blow it all out when you're done. You don't want any dust or grit left back in there. Don't use sandpaper or anything like that. Scotch-Brite works really well. If they're grooved or worn, or the surface is not flat, like the brush isn't going to make full contact, then you kind of have to either use a commutator stone, which I've never really used those, or you have to unfortunately take the armature out or the rotor out and have the slip rings dressed on a lathe. Gabe's Trains. Belt drive generator, about 1,500 watt output. They're out there. There were a lot of manufacturers and jobbers, we call them, people who would, like Montgomery Ward, where they would, purchase a machine from a manufacturer and slap their nameplate on it. Back in the 50s and the 60s, even the 70s, there were so many different names out there. Winco comes to mind for something like that. Winco made a whole line of standalone belt-driven generators to be paired up with pretty much any small engine of the day. Mike, no, I have never worked in the oil field. Willie, well, I have a forklift to move the big heavy stuff around. I've got a Case 580 Construction King forklift. It's pretty much a backhoe chassis with a forklift hanging off the back of it, and that moves things around pretty easily. I think it's like a 5,000 or 6,000 pound capacity, but it's all terrain. It can go wherever I need it to go. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit in the garage. The mast is too high, so I can't actually drive it into the garage. I can get the forks in and set things right at the threshold, but I can't actually drive it in the garage. I keep it in the pole barn, and I know I haven't shown that or done a video on it, but definitely need a forklift with heavy stuff. Nick, you did injector cups on a C7. I've never really been into the newer Cat engines. I would say I had to do injector cups on an 855 Cummins, and that was a pain as well. I'm sure you know. Just a pain. Scott, how you doing? Oh, the new. Oops, sorry, I went past it. Let's see. The new Onan quiet diesel generators with the Kubota engine. Well, the Kubota engine is pretty bulletproof. The newer Onans, I don't know. Are they an inverter type generator, or are they a synchronous generator? I think they may have made them both ways. I'm not sure. If they're a synchronous type generator, they're pretty bulletproof. It would be similar to my my light tower generator, little 3 or 4 cylinder Kubota engine with a standard. I don't even know if it's a brand new modern Onan quiet diesel. I don't even know who would make the generator end on that. Probably Stanford. Stanford with a pretty basic stuff as far as parts availability and reliability. If it's an inverter generator, still, it's probably a decent enough generator. But You just have to hope that inverter doesn't fail, or if it does fail, you can fix it. The Bird 1995, what's your day job? Well, I work on generators for a living. Oh, John, yeah. Said diesel fuel and engine oil is not good. So you said you had two 6BT generators, brand new. Use some contaminated fuel. Yep. The pump was what on an industrial 6BT is probably a Lucas rotary injection pump, or a Rusamaster Standardine pump. Yeah, once they're delicate and they're reliable, but they don't tolerate fuel with grit in it, or fuel with algae, or fuel with water. No diesel engine should have that. Yeah, sand in an engine is a bad thing. Well, thank you, Tim. I'll have to check that out, Colin. How much does a medium-sized diesel car/truck go for in the U.S.? I don't know. I don't really look at new car prices, but off the top of my head, if I wanted to buy a new F-250 Ford with a, whatever 6.7 diesel engine they're sticking in there now, I don't know, I would expect to pay $60,000, $70,000. To me, that's crazy. For an engine that, if it has a real failure of some kind and it's not a warrantable failure, $3,000 or $4,000 seems like the going rate for any kind of repair, even more. I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about the modern Ford diesels to make an accurate come to an accurate conclusion on whether or not it's worth purchasing one. I've actually thought about buying a larger truck. I have the F-250. It's a 2011 F-250, and that has hauled everything I need it to haul. However, towing the big cat generator from its original installation, bringing it home, and then bringing it to the new house, I'll have to say the trailer that it's on is at its capacity, if not a bit overloaded, actually. So I'd like to eventually haul that to engine shows and display it. But I don't think my truck. I don't know if I would feel comfortable taking that generator, a couple hundred miles to a show or anything like that. Just I don't feel like my truck has the weight to pull that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if I put a third axle on that trailer, got electric brakes on every axle, I'd feel better. Right now it's a 2-axle trailer, electric brakes, but still, it just doesn't. My truck doesn't feel that it has the weight to keep that steady. I don't know, just a feeling. I got a Lister SR2. I never had one of those. I think I've had the single cylinder version of that. But yeah, heavy for a go-kart. Scott. Yeah, hit and miss engines and efficiency. Kind of a myth, Hit and miss engines leaked more gas than they burned half the time. It was just a rudimentary way to govern the engine. Sorry, I got a hitch on my nose again. It was just a hit and miss governing is just a rudimentary way to control the speed of an engine. Back then, the engine had to be simple, had to be almost foolproof for use on a farm by unskilled people that hadn't really worked with machinery before. Let alone, a hit and miss engine with electric ignition, either a magneto or battery and coil, had to be very basic. So I don't really buy that hit miss engines are, miracle of efficiency or anything like that. they're simple. They were made to be simple. Throttle governed engines came along when the technology, or maybe not the technology, but when manufacturers realized they could invest a little bit more money into the technology to make the engine a bit better, make it run a bit more smoothly, make it react better to load changes as well. Once the the internal combustion engine for the common man really caught on. Yeah, John, A55, big cam. Geez, there's so many of them in this area on generators. So many of them. Ogre Beast, 64. It's funny to bring up those little tailgater generators, those little two-stroke things. I think they're kind of neat, even though they're like the most Chinesey thing you can find. I've had one or two of them, and they're just interesting because they're little cube things. Refuses to start even with ether. Replace the spark plug. I've heard that if it's got the original spark plug, I'm sure you've done this already, but they say that the spark plug that comes with them is about the worst quality thing that you can buy, and they'll just flat out stop operating. Either that, or maybe the reed valve is compromised, or the crankshaft seals are blown out. Tom, is there any way to retrofit a voltage regulator on a generator that's self-exciting? I would say yes. That's my answer. Yeah, I would think that there is. I mean, self-regulating but faulty. How is it? In what way is it faulty? What part of the winding is faulty? I'm assuming the exciter portion of the main rotor. I don't know. I mean, if it's the field coils in the stator, you could bypass those and experiment with a DC power supply to find out what kind of field voltage and current it would require. But there are a lot of regulators out there. Check out Powertronics for a regulator. They make some good high power regulators that, depending on what size, Tom, your generator is, you might need to go with a larger regulator if it needs a lot of field current. But sure, it's possible. Ogre, even tried a new spark plug. Yeah. I mean, I would check crankshaft seals or reed valve. See, is it are you getting like a puff out of the intake of the carburetor while you're cranking it? A little puff of fuel out of the intake. Could be a bad reed valve. Do I work on alternators also? Not really. I don't really do automotive electric. I mean, I'll repair an alternator of my own, but I don't take that work on, unless you're referring to, like, I guess the technical name for what I call a generator, or for what the industry calls a generator, is technically an alternator. I'm liking the new shop. As far as heat in the shop, not really. I have propane heater. It takes the chill off. It's one of those radiant heaters, so it doesn't really warm the air, but if you stand next to it, you sure feel warm. I'd like to run a natural gas line out to the garage at some point and insulate the garage and put some radiant heat up, but that's a long way down the road. I can't make too many projects for myself. The new house is good though. Yeah, Jonathan, they screwed everybody on the 6-liter, huh? Yeah, I used to work at a shop where we had a couple of 6-liter bucket trucks, and yeah, we had a couple issues with them, but they had a lot of hours on them. You're talking 8,000 or 10,000 hours because they idled from the time the guy got in the truck in the morning till the time he got home, those trucks were either running or idling because they needed the engine to run to operate the bucket. So, but yeah, I don't know. I did have a 7.3, and sorry, that's a cat running around. I don't know if you can hear that clawing around, but I did have a 7.3 Ford on a 97 Super Duty, and that was a neat truck, but it was a big utility body, and it got to the point where it was throwing a check engine light for some other sensor or leaky oil, high pressure pump or something, bad injector or something. It was just throwing a check engine light every other month, and I had to get rid of that thing. Yes, new diesels are emission failure prone. Yep. You know what's funny is the emissions controls haven't hit the modern generator world just yet, because most of the generators I work on are just emergency standby. So they, in this area, they have to run under a certain number of hours per year, and if they do, they do not have to meet emissions control regulations, at least the most stringent ones. Colin, how do we get to know each other? Well, Road King, Dirt Bike, Racer, they all knew each other before me. And then I met Road King at an engine show, and he introduced me to everybody, and that's pretty much it. It's funny, Racer is Dirt Bike's nephew. Dirt Bike is son of one of Road King's friends, longtime friends. So, yeah. I guess the hobby brought us together, you could say. Trailer with proper brakes should be able to stop the trailer in the truck. Sure the brakes are working on both axles? No, I'm not sure. Sorry. When I do my brake check, you can feel it stop the truck, but I will admit that I have not been through that trailer since purchasing it. I purchased it, did the brake check, tires were okay, and I went and picked the generator up. So I have not really ever been through that trailer. So I cannot say for sure that the brakes are any good on it. Although I feel them working, I don't know how well they're working. So that's on the list of things to do. I've almost thought about building a custom trailer for the big cat generator. Something a bit more built kind of specifically for its application as a generator. I don't know if adding a third axle would be the best route to go with that. If I'm going that route, I might as well just build a full trailer in my mind, in my opinion. Another good engine is the 495 Cummins. What is the 495? Is that the smaller version of the 855? Looks the same, just a bit smaller displacement. I don't know if they were 495 cubic inch or 480. I don't remember. Weren't they 470 something? I don't know. Unless you're talking about the V8. Didn't they have Cummins had a couple V8s back in the 70s and 80s. I've worked on a couple like their 555 V8s, fire pumps. See those things on fire pumps. Ugh. Not a fan. Well, not really the engine. Not a fan of fire pumps. Yeah, Dan. Yeah, I was actually working on the cat last weekend, and I would like to make a video on that tomorrow. It's supposed to have decent weather, so I'll try to get a video done on that tomorrow. Brake controller in your truck. Yeah, it's got the brake controller built into the truck computer. It's got the brake test lever, and you can set the trailer gain on the dash. So it's not an add-on module. It's actually built into the truck. Sorry, I don't know the technical terminology for that. No, thank you, Andy. Really, the largest Ford pickup is the Ranger, huh? And 6,900 pounds, that's the gross vehicle weight, I'm guessing. I don't know what the gross vehicle weight of my truck is. I think it might be 10,000 for the 250. Companies pay less. Okay, so I guess if you have a purpose or a legit purpose for having a pickup truck, then you get a bit of a break. I don't use my pickup for work. It's strictly for the hobby and getting myself around. I have a van for work, company vehicle. No problem, Scott. I like talking old engines. Said I've been out of the hit and miss engine game for a while. I haven't really done much flywheel engine stuff. A Happy New Year. No longer exciting. Tom. That's interesting. So no longer exciting. Like, do you think you lost residual magnetism somehow, or maybe you've got a short in one of your exciter field coils? Maybe an open circuit somewhere. Really, all you need to do is feed DC to the brushes on the commutator. Oh no, wait, I said that totally backwards. The DC is produced by the commutator and it feeds the field coils. Well, yeah, then, I mean, if the DC section in the armature is bad, just delete it. Just leave it there. Forget about it. Hopefully your field coils are good. Just feed your, what I would do if I had a generator of whatever description, and the excitation component of the winding on the rotor or on the armature had failed, or was open circuit, or was burned up, or the commutator bars had come off, or something like that. Just get your positive and negative, what would be your field input to your stationary field coils on the frame of the generator, and I'd hook up a bench power supply and start the unit up and just start bringing the voltage up. See what your output voltage is. Pretty much, you have to load the generator to its nameplate rating and see what you have as far as voltage and current on your power supply. Based on that, you can find a voltage regulator. Now, you may have a problem depending on what kind of regulator you get, with the regulator actually being able to initiate excitation. They need a small voltage to actually begin producing a field output, something that would feed the field. So depending on what your residual magnetism could produce on the output, you might get into a bind there. Might have to flash it with a battery or something just to get the cycle going. A tiny Tiger generator. One of those little Olson and Rice things. Is that what that is? I think Road King has one of those. And a Homelight 903. Not familiar with the antique chainsaws, but that's not to say they're not interesting. Old Onan need a wiring diagram. Might need some more information than that. Any suggestions for repairing rusted out threads in the exhaust port of a cast cylinder head? Ooh, that's a difficult one. That's a difficult situation. Depending on what the engine it was, what kind of cylinder head it was, it's hard to say what I would do. I would probably, depending on what kind of engine it was, I would probably take the approximate size pipe nipple that would fit the original threads, grind it down or turn the threads down so it would fit snugly in your cylinder, in your block or head, and braze it in there. And then you'd have a male pipe thread sticking out instead of a female port. Now, again, that's kind of a little bit shady repair. How much meat is in the head itself? Could you possibly bore that port and thread it the next size up, or bore it, thread it the next size up, and thread in a reducing bushing of some kind to get it back to the original thread diameter? Kind of depends on what kind of repair you want to do. If you want to, is it a get it running type repair, or is it kind of make it a perfect restoration or a perfect repair where you can't tell it was ever broken? Diesel heaters, check them out too. Yeah, I've heard of those. I've heard people use them for, over the road truckers use them to keep the sleeper cabs warm. Look into that. Thanks, John. Sorry, NG Hermit. I'm not going to be able to really help you with your 97 Jetta. I am not an automotive mechanic. I have very little experience in the automotive world. Limp mode after a few times a day. Could be just about anything, couldn't it? A sensor, vacuum leak, something in the emissions control system. Some 6 liters, okay, yeah. Many fleets going back to gas GM trucks. It's funny you say that. The company that I used to work for, they had a lot of bucket trucks, and the latest Fords at the time were the 6.7s, and they were just not doing very well. They had a couple 6.4 trucks too, and they did not do well at all. So if I'm not mistaken, the last time I spoke with the mechanic I used to work with there, they were purchasing gas engine trucks, just because the diesels are too much for pain. Any thoughts on DEF? What's that, diesel exhaust fluid? Yeah. Never owned a vehicle that had to use it. Driven vehicles that had to use it. I've driven new diesel trucks. And sure, they're quiet, they're powerful, but yeah. The 495 is the 4-cylinder. Would that be the 4BT in that case? Andrew, yeah, a gooseneck trailer. That is on the wish list, along with a appropriate truck to tow that with. Add-on brake controller. Got an ice storm tomorrow, huh? Yeah. I think it's supposed to be, well, where's my phone at? Let's see. What's the weather saying right now? 62 tomorrow. 62, partly sunny. It's going to be a nice day down in South Jersey tomorrow. Supposed to get a little rain tonight, but that should be cleared out by the morning. Paxman from UK. That's an engine manufacturer, right? Never seen one of those out here. Oh, thanks, John. Thanks for stopping in. Diesel heater for the shop. Yeah, again, diesel heater or a used oil burner, even though pretty sure they're illegal now in New Jersey. You can't install them new. Something about pollution. Tom Sullivan, residual magnetism, only like 45 volts. That's plenty to make a modern voltage regulator start building. Oh, yeah. I mean, geez. Modern regulators can build as low as 12, 15 volts. So, oh, absolutely. You could put a regulator on that. Absolutely. Mitchell, have I ever got shocked from a generator? I've been zapped once or twice before. I've even been hit with 277 once, and that was not fun. That's a long story, and it was a mistake a careless mistake on my part. But yes, electricity is very dangerous stuff. But I don't think I've ever been shocked from a running generator. But again, electricity is nothing to mess around with. Even some of the small little generators that I work on could, in the right circumstances or the wrong circumstances, could be lethal. So just everybody keep that in mind. It's very dangerous stuff. Oh, that's interesting. Max gross vehicle weight and lower price is tax related. Max gross for regular driver's license is 7,716 pounds. Higher require air brakes. Really? Well, that's interesting. So anything higher than 7,700 pounds requires air brakes over there in the Netherlands? That's fascinating. I remember the knuckle boom truck that I had, that had a 24,000 pound gross weight, and it was goofy Ford Hydro Boost brakes. It's very interesting. And a regular driver's license. See, now I have a Class A driver's license with air brake endorsement. So, that's interesting. And out here, if I remember correctly, if you're driving a regular straight truck with no trailer, you need a Class B driver's license for anything over 26,000 pounds. And if it is a combination with a trailer, you need a Class A license. Maybe I'm not. Don't take that as gospel. That's just what I remember. I got my Class A license 8 years ago. Replacement head for a Kubota lowboy. No, never worked on one of those. They're the little single. Well, I want to say little, but it's a single cylinder engine, right? Do they use that engine in anything else? Kubota lowboy. Zeus Apollo, the Witchman diesel. Never heard of that one either. Yeah, city spiders. Limp mode, leaks and sensor issues. That would be my thoughts as well, but I don't know if I could. Don't know if I could help you with that. Ricky, Mike, could you demonstrate the current field direction with your thumb? Oh man, what is that? So it's kind of hard to, if you have it's not a joke, right? You're holding the wire with your right hand, current is flowing in this direction, so the magnetic field is going in this direction, kind of follows the grip of your hand. Oh boy, it's been a while since I had to think about that. Isn't that right or no? I would think it'd be right. Oh, Colin, how many engines do I own? I don't know. I haven't really sat down and counted in a while. It's, as far as small engines, not very many. I sold almost everything, all the small engines that I had. I think the only actual, standalone small engines I have anymore would be like my Maytag, like the 92 Maytag. A couple little small generators. I have I think it's a 10 LS Onan, little single cylinder generator. A couple other Onan generators, various things like that. The F Briggs Road King actually has that now. I kind of traded / sold it to him just to kind of keep it in the family, so to speak. The Briggs K, wow, that's such a long time ago I had that. That was sold as well. And I don't even really remember the fellow that bought it actually. But I don't have that many actual small engines anymore. Daryl, did I talk about the cat yet? I said a few things about it. Didn't really talk about it though. -20 last night. Where are you at, Snow Crusher? Glad the power didn't go out. Yeah, I'm glad for you as well. I've never experienced -20. I've never experienced anything in the negatives around here. I think it might have gone down to the single digits once or twice in my lifetime. Whew, that's nuts. -20. My goodness. Daryl, it's not the volts, but the amps. Yeah. But you need the volts to get the amps. Don't forget that. 12 volts isn't going to hurt you, but you know, the volts is what pushes the amps. So, yeah, the eco freaks. Well, believe me, some of the old generators I work on, some of the things that are still in service in the field, that's what real pollution is. Yeah, first live one, Drew. Yeah, 26,000, and Andrew. Anything over 26,000, you have to have a Class B driver's license, at least in U.S. here. Now, what is the rule for air brakes? Is there a threshold where it's above a certain a straight truck above a certain GVW requires air brakes, or is that kind of up to the manufacturer? I'm sure there's got to be a regulation. Oh yeah, I've read about the brake cleaner. I've read about people using brake cleaner to clean a piece before it's welded or being brazed, and any brake cleaner that seeps into the pores of the material when you start to weld, it releases the gas, and I've heard that can be very, very dangerous. Chris, welcome. Mitchell, did we ever get the radial done? Nope. Never did get the radial done. And we haven't done a thing to it since the last video he put up. 2-cylinder, actually. Okay. Expensive as hell from Kubota. Yeah. I guess I'm trying to picture that engine, the 2-cylinder Kubota. So does that lay horizontally? I'm guessing since it's the low boy, I would assume it would lay horizontally. Again, is that engine specific to the low boy generators? Because didn't Kubota make some 2-cylinder tractor engines and little utility engines? Drew, did I get your email up yet? I have if I recall, I put an email on my email address on my YouTube channel. So you should be able to go there and locate that if you want to contact me. I don't recall whether or not I did that or not. I think I did. Yeah, I want to get the brown wall done as well, Chris. That's a nice engine. Nice and small. It's a good engine to throw in the back of a pickup and take to a show. Something easy to move around. Afraid of runaway vehicles. The Netherlands is flat, though. Most of the EU isn't, though. With a trailer add-on, you can combine up to 15,000 pounds. Okay. Now, 15,000 pounds, my Ford Super Duty was a 15,000 pound gross weight. That was a 97 F Super Duty, which was like the 450. But that was it was a long chassis truck with a dual rear wheel, dually axle. But that truck was 15,000 pound gross weight, I should say. And geez, the knuckle boom was 24,000 pound. But that didn't have air brakes. An Onan tag along, huh? I'm trying to picture what that is. Huh. I think there's one of those sitting at the shop at work on one of the shelves that hasn't run in decades. Tag along. It's almost like a suitcase thing. Yeah, the radial is in hiatus. That's exactly right. Did I go to driving school to get my CDLA? No, I didn't go to a school. No, I luckily the company I worked for had plenty of vehicles that would meet the requirement for the gross weight and had trailers like low boy trailers to take the test in and practice in. There were a bunch of the other mechanic I worked with as a CDL already had his CDL, so I forget the process exactly. I think I had to get the CDL permit, and I had to log a number of hours with him. Practice in the yard, parallel parking a trailer. That was one of the things you had to do. So I had to learn that, and I had to take. There were a couple of written examinations, if I recall correctly. Yeah, there was the air brake test, and that was separate from the overall driving test. And these are written tests. And then I had to take a road test, which combined the road driving, the air brake test, the physical air brake test, to get my license up to a Class A. Don't ask me any of the air pressure requirements because I don't remember any of them. Like at what pressure the buzzer is supposed to go off, at what pressure the parking brake knob is supposed to pop out. Don't ask me any of that because I don't remember. And don't ask me how quickly the air compressor needs to build up from 0 to 120 pounds. Don't ask me that. Don't remember. What happened to the 3 horsepower Novo? Well, man, I sold that so many years ago. I remember that engine. I liked it, but oh no, I remember where it went. It went to a guy in Delaware who's actually still a friend of mine. He bought a lot of my engines. Bernie from Delaware. Hope I have a wood stove. Nope, don't have a wood stove. The garage had a wood stove when I moved in. It was a barrel stove, but I took that out, and that's just kind of sitting behind the garage right now. And I put up some walls where that was. It was taking up a lot of space, and I wanted the space for actual workspace rather than a wood stove. See, the problem with wood stoves, in my opinion, is I'm on call a lot for work. And if I'm working in the shop or the garage on a project and I get a phone call and I have to go and I have to leave, I'm a little uncomfortable with leaving a wood stove smoldering. Even though you can close it up and choke the air down, I'm a little I don't know. Wood stoves, fire in the garage, embers, all that kind of stuff. I'm a little leery about leaving that burning in the garage when I'm unattended. I know people do it all the time in their home, but I don't know. I never really was a wood stove guy. Any generators that will stand up to an EMP? Sure. Nothing you can buy today, though, like brand new, unless it's a military spec unit. But and even you can make an ordinary generator, something common, stand an EMP, just the correct shielding from the electromagnetic radiation in the correct places. Really, it's not going to do much to hurt the windings in the generator themselves, I would be more concerned with an electronic voltage regulator, an electronically triggered ignition coil if it's an auto cycle, or a gasoline engine. An older diesel engine is not going to care. Even one that had like electric fuel solenoid, it probably wouldn't hurt it either. I don't know. I haven't really done a lot of EMP research, but you got to think what is the potential for induced voltages in a coil of a certain cross section or a certain winding. If you have a generator which is going to have a maximum of a 600, like say a 600 volt rating for the windings, an insulation rating, right? Is an EMP going to induce an excess of 600 volts where it's going to flash over from winding to winding? I don't know. The -50 in Canada. Ugh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd be able to take that. But I guess at one point, at a certain point, is there any real difference between -20 and -50? You're not going to feel it, or are you? I don't know. It's just cold. Tom, okay. Best longest lasting generators in the 15 kW range, 12 lead reconnectable. An older Onan, a Stanford generator end, real Stanford, not a Chinese Stanford. I mean, that's what Cummins uses now. If you were to buy a new Cummins generator today, it's going to have a Stanford generator end on it. It's probably a Chinese Stanford, but Stanford makes a good quality generator end. Even Caterpillar. Who is Caterpillar using now for generators? I can't remember. I think they may still call them, like, tag them Caterpillar. I don't know if they're actually building them themselves anymore. They probably are in certain sizes, but I think I've seen a couple Chinesey Caterpillar generator ends out there. But yeah, an older Onan generator end. Kohler. What are Kohlers using? I think Kohlers are still using their own generator end, like the fast response style generator end. I think that's still a thing. An older generator, a Lima Mac. I have a Deutz. That's what I used to use to run the lathe. Is a 3-cylinder Deutz with a Lima generator end on it, self-regulating, 12 lead, reconnectable. Good generator end. Hey, Mike. Hey, okay. Wrench guy working on the D311 tonight. I'm doing well. Nice to see you here, Wrench guy. How is the 311 doing? John B, do you miss Armor Electric? How did you know that, John? Do I know you? John B. How did you know I work for Armor and Sons? Do I miss Armor Electric? I don't know. Sometimes. Do I miss it? I don't know. I'm happy that I made the move, but I learned a lot from Armor. It was a good experience. I was about to say I was younger then, and I might have been a goofy kid at the time working there, but I definitely learned a lot. Learned a lot about the field and working on equipment. So it was a good experience working at Armor and Sons. Colin, do you still have hit and miss engines or mostly generators? Well, my only I have 2 hit and miss engines. The oil well supply, that's a hot tube engine. And then I have my little 2-horse Hercules that I've always had. Those are my only, classic hit and miss engines. What you think of as a hit and miss engine. And I have a little Maytag 92. If you call that a hit and miss engine, I guess it is. A lot of generators. Yeah, a lot of generators, mostly generators, I guess, and some, just standalone engines that I think are interesting. It's not that I don't. It's not that I dislike hit and miss engines or flywheel engines or small engines. My interests have just kind of migrated to more so the generator aspect now. Yeah. Tim, hello. Jeep Attack, how you doing? Mitchell, yes. Brake cleaner, just brake cleaner's horrible stuff. It does the job. It has a purpose, but whew, man, is it horrible stuff. Yeah, mostly generators. Where is old Bucket 93? That was a good truck. I had that engine. I had that truck for a while, and I sold it to a friend of mine, and he blew the transmission in it. And I'm not sure if he still owns it or not. I should have never sold that. I look back and I say, damn, I should have kept that. Bucket 93 and Knuckle Boom 70. I sold Knuckle Boom 72. It was just too expensive to keep registered and insured, for that matter. But I got my use out of it. Yeah, I missed that truck. I missed both of those trucks. Should have never sold them. Oh, Tim, thank you very much for all the milling cutters. Oh, okay. So anything over 7.7 thousand or 7,700 pounds is a shift between consumer and commercial. Okay. Well, that's interesting. It makes sense, I guess. When you think about it, how many people are really require anything heavier than that? Andrew, okay, yeah. The two cylinders are upright engines. The 2-cylinder Kubotas. I don't know. I didn't know if they may be the same cylinder head. I don't know. Could be, but I guess if you have experience with them, you'd be better to comment on that than me. Oh, there's a cat. Sorry about that. What are you doing? Oh, Drew, you found the brushes, huh? I remember talking about that a couple years ago. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'll double check and make sure the email is there. I'm almost certain that I updated it to include my email because I was thumbing around YouTube and noticed I didn't have it there. Hi, Richard. Colin, okay, where do we get our engines? Well, Road King and I used to go to a number of auctions in the area, farm auctions, collector auctions, things that were almost specifically targeted to hit and miss engines. There would, be a dozen or so flywheel type hit and miss engines there, throttle governed and hit and miss style. Also, a bunch of small engines, things like that. And how much do they sell for? If you can pick up a project hit and miss engine that needs some work for the $400 to $600 range. That's you say 2 horsepower Hercules. That's what I started with. If you were at an auction and you found a 2 horsepower Hercules that was complete, but it was rough, it was greasy, might need a few worn parts replaced, but pretty much all there, you'd expect to pay $350 to $500 for something like that, depending on if it had original paint, if it had the magneto, if it had an oiler on it, things like that. it can get much more expensive than that, mind you, if you go for something a bit more uncommon. And small engine prices are all over the place. You know, Road King's funny. You know, we obviously build a lot of custom engines out of Briggs 5 and 6S's. So when we go to auctions or swap meets or engine shows, um, you know, he won't pay more than $5 or $10 for a Briggs 5S or something similar, Model N Briggs or something like that. Now, mind you, that engine, that $5 or $10 engine, will be rough. It'll be missing some parts. It'll be rusty. It will have been in the dirt for years. You know, so uh, yeah, the prices vary. Getting into the hobby, enough is never enough. Yeah, that's true. Lee, how you doing? From Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah, you can't own real U.S. pickups, huh? Oh my goodness, you should see some of the stuff that's on the road around here. Down in Florida for the winter, huh? Cow Pilot. Cow Pilot. JD 1533. How you doing? Yeah, -50. You have 2 minutes outside before frostbite. Sheesh. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Sometimes you got an engine you just can't part with. That's like my Hercules. You know, you got your Briggs Model 8. My Hercules, I don't run it all that much anymore. I take it to shows once in a while. But I can't bear to I can't part with it. Well, that's a good thing you had a key on you. Oh, you're running your neutrals and grounds. Okay, Mike. That's good. So yeah, you're gonna bond that neutral and ground for your standalone operation. Oh, you know what, Mike? This is wrench guy I'm talking to. Uh, there's a pair of Cummins. What are they? HBs. Let me look them up on the phone here real quick. On the Craigslist app, you got to get the Craigslist app on your text machine nowadays. Let's see. There's a pair of Cummins. Oh, something or others. Let me look here. Uh, Sorry, is this inappropriate for YouTube live stream? I'm looking at my phone while I'm YouTube living. Where are those at? Anyway, sorry. There's a pair of Cummins engines that has the PT pump adapter that you're looking for your engine. I don't know if they're going to work for you or not. I just saw them earlier tonight, and I was going to email you the link, and I forgot. Damn. Well, I can't find them, so I will have to keep you in mind there next time I come across the ad. Darn. Anyway, pair of six-cylinder Cummins engines, Mike, that has the PT pump adapter that you need to get rid of that air compressor. So I'll try to remember to send you the link. Murphy diesels, huh? Unit crane? No, never worked on one. Never even seen one in person. Shape as a cat. Yeah. Well, I feel bad for you then. The cat is rough. Any good part sources? I don't know. For Murphy's, hard to say. There's a couple of people we deal with out in this area when we need a part for some old engine. Usually an old generator engine, Alice Chalmers or something like that. We can get some parts for. But Murphy's, I don't know. Yeah, don't ask about the radio. Don't ask about the radio. Put a bearing in the four-cylinder brakes. Yes, it has a center main bearing. So what is it now? It's got a ball bearing on the first crankshaft main bearing. It's got a two-piece custom-built bronze bearing for the center main, and the rear main is the original Briggs sleeve bearing. So it's in there. Yes, think ice cream at Jacktown. Absolutely. Is that you, Brian? All right, Drew. Talk to you later. Mark, how you doing? Thank you for reporting the troll. Jesus. Who are some of these people? I tell you, my goodness. All right, Colin, take it easy. Good talking to you. Oh, the cat's going. The cat's moving along, Frank. I'm in the process of cleaning out the crankcase on it. I don't know if anybody remembers what that looked like. It was pretty much caked with a layer of sludge over every possible square inch. So I've kind of Rube Goldberg a parts washer kind of cleaning system to clean the interior of the crankcase of all the sludge. So I'm going to continue working on that tomorrow, and I think I'm going to try to make a video of that. Maybe try to put it up tomorrow night. It seems to be working pretty well. Believe it or not, the interior of the block is painted cat yellow, so it's going to look nice. Really, I want to get all the sediment, the sludge deposits as much off as I can. I'm at the stage that it is now. I don't intend to disassemble it any further. So how it is, there's you got the block, the oil pan, the crankshaft are all installed. The oil lines are there, the camshaft's installed, the injection pump is still installed, but it's going to come off to get cleaned on the bench at some point. But I'm not gonna drop the pan. I'm not gonna take the block off. I'm not gonna take the crank out. I'm not gonna take the cam out. It's just there's got to be a cutoff. I had hoped that this project, the cat itself, wasn't going to be this intense, but it has turned out to be as intense as it is. So, I don't want to go any deeper into it. So I'm working on ways to clean the oil lines and flush out the main bearing shells and the crankshaft drillings for the oil. So, yeah, that's the project for tomorrow. Other than that, it's going pretty well. Sorry, just reading the comments here. How you doing, Malcolm? Wow, way over there, way across the pond. Tim, do I still have the small home light generator? Oh, would that be the two-stroke home light? That big aluminum thing? Nope, I don't have that. Don't have that any longer. I see those things all the time. Those home lights. Craigslist, at engine shows. It's fine. I don't know. I don't even remember what I did with that. I'm sure I sold it or traded it off. Need to moderate and block out their comments. How do I do that? Oh, okay. I see. If I click over to the side there, you can report, remove. Okay. First time doing this, so bear with me. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I can kind of block all that. Yeah, thanks, Willie. I'll definitely do that. Red flags for refusing to buy used generators that's cheap. Well, depends what kind of generator it is. If it's like the cat, for example, like when I went to look at the cat, I knew it was locked up. Knew it hadn't been run in years, but it is what it is. It's a 1939 cat. I was willing to take the risk on that. Now, I'm deep in a hole in that. There's no, like, monetarily. By the time I'm done and it's running, I don't think I'd be able to sell it and make a profit on it. But that's not what the point of the cat is. The cat is kind of like a legacy project. I've kind of started to call it. It's something that's taking me years to get done, but I enjoy doing it, and I will enjoy keeping it for a long time. But not to get sidetracked, red flags for used generators. Does it turn over? Does the engine turn over? When was the last time it was run? Has it been stored outside? What do the windings look like? What do the windings smell like? Don't be afraid to get your head right. Take the back cover off the generator and stick your head in there and smell. Smell for mouse nest, mouse pee, mildew, pretty much mildew, stuff growing, just dirt, leaves, stuff piled up in the connection box. What do the windings look like? What do the laminations look like? Are they rusted? Is the conformal coating on the laminations peeling up? A lot of things to look at. It depends what kind of generator you're looking at too, and how cheap it is. If you're talking scrap value or less, you might as well pick it up if you have the room for it. You never know when parts could come in handy. But if you're looking at it to use or to repair or to resell, then you got to be a little bit more critical as far as what you're buying. But I bought some pretty rough pieces in my day. In the generator field or in the generator hobby, but I'm willing to buy a rough generator if it's something unique or something that I'm personally attracted to. Yeah, Jeep Attack. It's hard to believe I started on the Cat 2 years ago. It just seems like it seems like yesterday to use an overused phrase, I guess you could say. Just time flies, it does. Yeah, JD 15, yeah, the cat is a beast. Good friend. Oh, you're not doing well, Malk? I'm sorry to hear that. Add your community friends as channel moderators with a blue wrench. I don't know what that means. Is that like an icon somewhere? Something I have to click on? Blue wrench. Sorry. Tim Miller, are we going to Cool Spring? Yep. Cool Spring in June. That's at first we were kind of doing a year on, a year off, but I like that show a lot, and that's going to be definitely a yearly trip from now on, so I will be there. They're featuring air-cooled engines, aren't they, in the spring? Hopefully we get the brown wall finished, Road King's brown wall finished by that time. Derek, take it easy. Thanks for stopping in. Andy, how you doing? Tom, take it easy. Just kind of, that's a mute button. Okay. What's this doing? Pop out chat. Oh, geez, but we've been on here for an hour and a half already. Sheesh. So I can this remove. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, I missed a couple here. Take it easy, Tom. Yeah, I'm a fan of the brown wall's a nice engine, Jeff. I said nice small, and Road King's doing a good job painting it all up. It's gonna be a real nice. It's gonna be a complete engine. We don't get to fully restore many engines like that. I don't want to say fully restore, but really make them look nice. Kind of they're very eye catchy when they're painted up with his kind of skill. Do I live near Road King, Andrew? Well, I guess I do. Probably about 45 minutes away from him. So not exactly my next door neighbor, but not like I have to travel hours to see him. I work all throughout the state of New Jersey, and I work in Philadelphia a lot. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is only maybe 20 miles, 15, 20 miles from me. I'm across the river in Jersey. So we often get together on a weeknight when I'm on my way home from wherever I happen to be working. So Frank, I don't know if Road King's going to be up for body work on the cat. I don't know if the cat's worthy of his fine skills. The cat's got a pretty smooth block, smooth casting, so I don't think it needs any body work. But I'm sure I could talk him into to straightening out a few pieces of tin work on it for me. Oh, that's good enough. Well, it's good to have. I'm glad you have somebody taking care of you, somebody to kind of help you out. It'd be difficult to not have anybody in the area. Luckily, my family's all within an hour driving distance, so Fire Safe. It's a good name. Any plans on getting back to work on the radio? Well, no plans. It's going to happen someday, I'm sure. Just not sure when. It's not high on the priority list, I guess. Although I'd like to work on it, I just don't have the time. And right now the thing is so packed away. The radial engine is so packed away in boxes that are over here and over there that even to get the parts back out and kind of remember where we were at working on it would take us a night. Just lay everything out, talk about our plans, try to figure out where we left off. But yes, I do intend to finish it someday. It's again just not high on the priority list. Anthony. Yeah, thank you. I hope we get a cat running as well. Where did I find the generator load tester? Well, the military unit, the big green box, I bought that from work. That used to be one of the things that we had at the shop for working on smaller generators, but it's obsolete for use in the commercial environment. It's good for my personal use, but it's too big and bulky to be used commercially nowadays. And it was purchased military surplus. I believe one of the military surplus depots or military depots in Philadelphia, sometime in the 80s, I think they bought it. If I had to guess, I'm pretty much guessing here. But yeah, military surplus. Keep checking Gov deals. A lot of military surplus stuff there. You never know what you're gonna find. But I can say that I've maybe seen one or two others in my travels, but they don't come up very often. Oh, your nephew's a Caterpillar mechanic, huh? Well, that's good. Yeah, we got a couple bigger cats under contract. I'm trying to think. About the largest units we typically work on are in the 2.5 megawatt range. They have a 3516 electronic cat engine, so they get bigger than that though, for sure they do. Luckily, those big units, they don't break down very much because working on them is a pain. Okay, thanks for the information, Square Eyed. So I'd have to make them a moderator. Oh, so okay, I'm looking now. Add moderator, I would have to do. Okay. Well, good to keep in mind. Good to keep in mind. Yes, Road King. Central Jersey, huh? You're one of the people that think Central Jersey exists. That's the debate here in New Jersey, don't you know? There is no Central Jersey in some people's views. You got North Jersey and South Jersey. I'm in South Jersey, which is the good New Jersey. Not saying anything bad about the folks in North Jersey, but it's not my favorite place to be. Oh, Zig stopped in. How you doing? Smoky out there in Australia, huh? Yeah, I hope you're safe from all that. Pretty scary stuff out there. Mike, Camper Mike, how you doing? Going back to the load bank, that's a 30 kilowatt capacity, but multi voltage, single phase, 120 volt or 240 volt, and then three phase, 120, 240, 120, 208, and 277, 480. So it's a good capable unit, which you would expect it to be pretty universal, especially being a military piece. But it's big, it's heavy. for only 30 kilowatt. Hockey. Watching some hockey, are you? Okay. That's good. Safe where you're at, Zig. What's new? What you been working on? Just scrolling back up to the comments, see if I missed anything. The 009 to 090. Where's your nephew work? What region does he work in? Okay, yeah, thanks for the tip, Gordon. I saw that. I saw if I open up the little tab next to everybody's name, I can select them as a moderator. I'll keep an eye on the posts. And Tim, okay, out of all the motors Euroke did, what do you like the best? Huh? I don't know. My favorite, I guess, Road King creation is probably the hit and miss brakes. That one doesn't get a whole lot of attention. I don't know. For some reason, it doesn't. I like it though. There was a lot of I learned a lot about machine work on that one. Making the governor assembly, making the drive gears and everything. There was a lot of fiddly little parts on that to make, and I enjoyed that. The four-cylinder as well. The four-cylinder is one of my favorites. It's the engine that you can haul out to a show, set it on the table, and start it up, and it always draws a crowd. Which one do you like? There's a lot of them out there. Come to think of it, there's the two-cylinder. I got to count them off on my fingers here. Got the two-cylinder. I'm going to go in order. The two-cylinder, the hit and miss engine. What was next? Was it then the four-cylinder? And then the clear head. And then there might have been like a Maytag in there. Maytag, single cylinder. Not really a Briggs, we won't count that one. And then there was the water-cooled Briggs. The radial is in there. I don't count that one as that one's not done yet. Then the overhead valve, that one's not done yet either. So, but I have to say, but it's between the hit and miss engine and the four-cylinder. Square ride. You went through New Jersey once, stopped in Trenton. Not very pleasant at all. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, I was in Trenton today. It's funny you mentioned that, Square Ride. I was in Trenton today. I was up there at a hospital, and I had a generator test to do, a 4-hour building load transfer with a load bank. So I spent 4 hours in lovely Trenton this morning. Got to the country and was quite surprised. Yes, nice farmland. That's kind of where I'm at. I live in South Jersey. Gloucester County, so it's nice out this way. Not as hectic as it gets around Cherry Hill and everything like that. It's so busy in that area. It's funny. I call there's a section in New Jersey between what I call North Jersey and South Jersey. I call that no man's land. Not to be disrespectful to anybody that's from that area, but I don't know. I guess that what is it, like the Freehold area down to around out to Lakewood, and then down to oh god, I can't think of the name. Like East Windsor area. It's kind of like no man's land. There's nothing going on out there. Oh, that's good, Zig. It's always nice to take a little rest every once in a while. Do some work on your Chevy, huh? That's cool. Getting closer to make the big cat purr. Yeah, well, it's a long project, but it's not getting any worse. Let me put it that way. It's getting repaired slowly but surely. Hoping to get it running sometime this summer, maybe closer to the fall. It needs a pretty sizable parts investment, which is going to be the next step. Once I get the cleaning done of the engine, I'm going to buy the other 4-cylinder liners, buy the rest of the piston rings, the gaskets, and drop the new liners in. A lot of cleaning to do. A lot of cleaning to do. That's what happens when I'm sure the oil that was in the big cat had been in there, I don't even know, since the 80s. Just the tarriest, not even tar, wax. That old oil separates and gets real waxy and leaves a sludge everywhere. Yeah, Mike, Camper Mike, 4-cylinder gets all the attention. Yeah. Got a couple new people stopping in. How you doing? Hello. Yeah, Brian, I'm a fan of the see-through head as well, the clear head. Scott, yeah, but a couple people ask about the cat. Go ahead, ask again. I like talking about it. Yeah, Sussex County, New Jersey it has some farmland. It's funny, North Jersey, or North Jersey. There's East North Jersey, and then there's West North Jersey. Western North Jersey has a mountainous area, farmland, Delaware water gaps up there. But there's that big section of North Jersey from Ramsey, New Jersey. I've been up to Ramsey, New Jersey, down around, and you have Newark and Elizabeth, and all those kind of sketchy places. Not a fan of going up there for work, although we may have just recently. Well, no, I shouldn't say may. We just recently got a contract for 29 generators, and 19 of them are up in North Jersey. So I will be up there more often, unfortunately. But it's more work, more generators to work on. So can't complain too much about that. I grew up in Hunterdon City, huh? I knew a few people up there. Jeff. Yeah, I want to see the overhead valve get going as well. That was a good project. I enjoyed making the head for that. It's not really all that far off from being done. It's just, we don't really have the time to get to it. When we get together, it's pretty much, well, what do you want to work on? And it could be anything we have. And it just recently it hasn't been any of the little project engines. And we work on an Onan W2C. I had one of them a couple of years ago. I never really did anything with it because it was missing so many parts. So no, I can't say that I've ever had one of those running. You know what I do have similar to that is the Onan, the V45, which is like a V4 version of that. It's a similar engine, but it's a V configuration, 4-cylinder. That's one that I need to get to one of these days. You have one you're working on? Petrochem tester? Oh, what just happened? Tim, yeah, you like them all. Need pistons for your W2C, huh? Are they an odd piston? I mean, doesn't have to be. It doesn't really have to be an Onan piston as long as it fits the bore and it's got the right wrist pin to crown clearance. Can't say what. I don't know. What are they? Probably. I don't know. 3 1/4 or 2 3/4 so inch bore, 3-inch bore. Geo Killer, how you doing? Yeah. Had some people asking about the cat. No, actually, Tester 239. Did anybody ask about Road King's Onan generator? No, nobody's asked about that yet. And that is sitting. It's sitting outside under a tarp at his house, and we haven't done a thing with it since the last video he put up. He's like myself. We both have a lot of projects that are incomplete. Now the thing is, I've had people tell me in the past that I shouldn't jump around. I should just start working on one project and finish it and get it done and continue it until it's complete. But my argument against that is this. That's too much like work to me. That's a job, you know. That's what I do for a living. I go to a job, I work on a generator. When I'm done, I test it, and the job is done. And I don't want to do that at home. What I like doing on a weekend is walking out to the shop on a Saturday morning and saying, what do I want to work on today? Work on the cat, work on something else, work on the tractor, you know. Don't work on anything. Work on something in the house. So, you know, if I just spent all my time every time I had some shop time working on one engine or one project, it would get monotonous, I think. Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there. All right, take it easy, Square Eyed. Thanks for stopping in. What time is it, by the way? Oh, geez, it's almost 10. It's a bit late for me as well. Marcos, hello from Brazil. Yeah, hello to you too. Never been to Portland. I've had a lot of people tell me to go. I had a chance to go last year, this past year, but I had to work. Yeah, we were super busy that month. When is that? In July or June? Super busy that month, and I could not take the time off. What? Andrew, Wisconsin V4. Yeah. What do you mean? K90 Kohler, huh? I think I had one of those on a generator a number of years ago. Mark, you restored one, huh? They're a pretty neat engine, huh? Not common at all. Pretty rare engine. Hello New Zealand. Hello from New Jersey. Fort Myers, Florida. How you doing? Yeah, Greg. It always rains at Cool Spring. At least every time I've been to Cool Spring, we get a rainstorm coming through. But it's been good otherwise. I'll be there, so might see you. Yeah, Jeff, you gotta do what's fun. Gotta keep it fun. Do you know of an existing high-performance rod for Tecumseh H35? Ooh, I don't know. They were building stuff for high-performance stuff for those engines, right? Back in the 80s and the 90s when those were kind of like a potential go-kart engine. I don't know if they got any support behind them anymore. Everybody's all using the clone engines, aren't they, for any kind of small engine high performance? Petrochem tester. Yeah, check for other pistons out there. I'm not saying that you won't find a pair of owned pistons, even used. There's not. You know what? You got to check Smokestack. I don't know if you've checked that website or even if you're a member there. Smokestack.com has a great antique generator section. It's a forum, and they've got some wanted ads and things like that. A lot of knowledgeable people are there. Still have the radial engine. Yes, we do. Still have the radial. Still not done. Haven't worked on it in a long time. Zig, it's 2 p.m. out there, huh? On Sunday. What the heck? Oh, yeah, it's Saturday. So I worked this morning, so my time is all thrown off. It is almost 10 out here. Whew, 10 p.m. Scott, hello from Oklahoma. Hello from New Jersey. Tim, is Rokin going to work on the 57 Chevy? Says he is. But every time I try to bring that up, he gives me an excuse why we can't work on it. Like if we worked on it and made it a nice car, he'd have no place to keep it, and he would lose a shelf as well because right now it's more of a shelf than a vehicle. We'll get it running and out someday. Apparently it doesn't need much. It's always been in the same exact spot it is now since I've known him. So I don't know what the interior looks like. I don't know what it looks like under the hood. So, but I trust him in that he says it won't take much to get it running. I would like to drive it at some point. Any shows close to Virginia? There are a number of shows down in the Virginia area. We do not go down there, although we would like to try. I think isn't Berryville, Virginia, a big show down there a couple times a year. Got a couple friends that go down there, so maybe we'll try to hit one of those at some point. Shane, how you doing? Appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, Glenn, work on what you want to work on. It's not a job. 2:55 a.m. in the UK. What are you doing awake then? Yeah, check the military surplus market. I mean that's where my load bank came from originally, I should say. Yeah. Huh. Frank, it's only 10 a.m. in Thailand. Wow. 12 hours ago. 12 hours apart. Interesting. What happened to the homemade OHV Briggs? Well, nothing happened to it. Literally nothing, because there haven't been any videos up of it. It's sitting in pieces on Road King's workbench, waiting to be put back together, or to be complete, rather. Frank, it's tomorrow for me, yes. Oh, okay. So you had a Manco Streaker. H35 is rebuilt. if you had a friend at a machine shop, they could make you a rod. It wouldn't be all that difficult to do. It would definitely be a project, but with an existing rod as a pattern, they could make you a billet rod, so to speak. So, I mean, probably it would certainly be better than what they came with originally, if I remember correctly. It's been so long since I've had one of those little Tecumsehs apart. That connecting rod is a little flimsy looking. Jeff, have I ever worked on a Yanmar diesel? I have actually. Little couple of them. A little horizontal single cylinder, and one of their like a 2 or 3 cylinder inline engine, inline 3. A good engine, comparable to like a Kubota in quality wise, as far as I understand. I think parts availability might be a bit difficult. Well, not difficult, but less available than the Kubota parts might be. Now, Greg, that K90 is on a Roth garden tractor, huh? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. Never heard of one before. The K90 is a pretty small engine. Tri-State Antique Power and Equipment. Well, in Tennessee. I can't say I'll be getting out there anytime soon. Mariana from Argentina. Welcome. Yeah, Zig, helps to have experience in both working on stuff on your personal time and at work. It all builds. It all builds together. Makes you a better mechanic or car hobbyist or whatever. Yeah, very true, Shane. Skilled labor is expensive. Hmm. All right, Petro, take it easy. Have a good night. Take it easy. Yeah, gasket maker as a head gasket. You didn't run any valves into the cylinder head, did you? That can get you into a jam. What kind of gasket maker did you use? Like Permatex? And what kind of power is possible out of a Honda overhead cam, the 160 GCs? Don't know. I guess it depends how high you could rev the thing. I don't know what would come apart first. Would it throw a connecting rod, or would the flywheel explode? Would the little timing belt jump a tooth? I don't know. It's a good question. What are they typically rated at? Like 5.5 or 6 horsepower, something like that? I imagine you could rev one of those things too. I don't know. About 6,000 RPM before you had to worry about it. Yeah, gray Permatex. Isn't that supposed to be oil resistant? Or is that the black? I don't even know. And Isuzu Pup. What's an Isuzu Pup? Is that one of those like mini trucks? 88 Datsun. What is an Isuzu Pup? I'm not familiar with that. Put the clutch through the firewall. Well, 4.6 horsepower from that Honda. Hmm. Okay. Well, what do they rate? They're 4.6 at 3,600 RPM, I'm guessing, right? So, what could they really take, I guess, is the question. And if you want to get technical, what's their power curve? Where do they make their maximum output at? You could rev the thing to the moon and you still wouldn't make any more usable power out of it. I don't know. I haven't done anything with UD16 gen set. There's somebody remember the UD16. Let's see. I've got it. All I did was sorry. All I've done with it is pull the spark plugs out, dump uh, some acetone and ATF down the cylinders to try to get some compression out of it. Turn it over a little bit. It's got a couple stuck valves. Not stuck. All the valves seem to move, but they're just not sealing quite right. But definitely want to get back on the UD16. That's going to be after the cat. Not going to start really doing anything on the UD16 gen set until the cat is done. But interestingly enough, since you asked, I was I was given or gifted a UD16 power unit. So same engine, just with I think it's got a Rockford or Rockford PTO on it, PTO clutch. So that's another unit, kind of a parts donor. So definitely want to get back on the international UD gen set. Yeah, Mariano, definitely. Um, High quality labor is expensive, but yeah, if you're getting somebody that has done the job before and is experienced, yeah, definitely worth it. Tim Miller, have you seen Keith Rucker tools? Hmm. Yeah, I've watched some of Keith Rucker's videos. I don't know if I'm subscribed to his channel. I'll have to check on that. You turned a 3 horsepower brakes to 8,000 with the stock rod and it stayed together. Well, hey, can't argue with that. It's been done. Oh yeah, Jeff, the Ford Ranger diesels. I've never seen one of those in person. I've seen a couple advertised for sale, but they demand a pretty penny when they come up. They had a little Perkins engine in them, right? Maybe it wasn't a Perkins. Maybe it was something else. I thought they had a little Perkins in them. Okay, 5.5 horsepower at 3,600. Okay. Hmm. Another cat. What are you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, still on, Jonathan. Susie quit making transmission parts. Yeah, Marcos, old diesels are great. Definitely. Jeff, the Perkins engines, they weren't turbocharged in those little Ford Rangers, right? They were all naturally aspirated. I'm working on your Model A today, huh, Jonathan? That's cool. I don't know what the weather was like out there where you're at, but it was a beautiful day to be working on something today, that's for sure. I found myself up in Trenton this morning working on or testing a gen set, so kind of lost half the day there. Hmm. 55 Chevy with the Perkins, huh? That's interesting. Brown Ranch, how you doing? An 82 Chevy LUV with the Isuzu diesel. I'm having trouble picturing what an LUV is. That's not like a box truck, right? I don't know. I'll have to Google that. We'll have to Google that real quick. Hmm. Interesting. New and original crate iron horse military genset. That's pretty unique. Well, if that generator was useful in that it was, say 110, 120 volt AC output, or even a 24 volt output, 12 volt output for battery charging, it could be worth a little money there. Couple $100 maybe. Now, if you found a military collector that needed it to complete a setup or a display, well, then all bets are off. It could be worth a lot of money. 236 with a turbo off of 4BT. Perkins 236, huh? That's interesting. Scott, you spent the day inside, huh? Raining out there. Working electronics. The big cat's going just fine. Plugging along. I think I'm going to do a little bit of work on it tomorrow. Maybe get a video up even. Don't quote me on that, but I'm going to try to. Chevy Love. Prior to the S10. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen one of those. That's interesting. Gotta learn something new every day. That's very interesting. And they came with an Isuzu, I guess, as an option, huh? Who said that? I'm gonna have to scroll up. Huh. That's very interesting. You got it backfiring Briggs and Stratton, huh? Check your valve clearance. That'd be the first thing to do. Oh, okay. Maybe Isuzu built the whole pickup for General Motors or Chevy. Interesting. I think I'm actually going to head out from tonight for myself, everybody. I appreciate everybody stopping in. This was a good first live stream test. Like I mentioned 2 hours and 20 minutes ago. I'd like to try this again set up a camera in the shop and set the computer up in the shop and maybe do one of these live streams while I'm actually working on something. That would be interesting. So appreciate everybody stopping in. No, Frank, thanks for the info. Yep, Caterpillar video's coming. So try to get one up tomorrow. But everybody, have a good night. I'm signing off.